Okay, so in this video, we're going to be looking at how to access academic resources online. Um, we're going to be looking at things like peer-reviewed journals, um, academic books, things like that, which are the kind of literature that you will need to read in researching your dissertations. Um, there's a whole lot of resources available to you online, both through the University of East London and other places like the British Library, Barbican Library, things like that, and you can get to them all through the VLE. So what I'm going to do in this video is just walk you through the process of accessing it and show you how to the use databases to search for content that's relevant to the topic of your dissertation. So we're going to start from the Institute webpage here, so icmp.co.uk, and it brings us through to this, which you'll all be familiar with. And we're going to click on the right here to the VLE, Virtual Learning Environment. I'm going to log in, and that takes me through to my home page here. And in the center here, you have these options here, and the one we're going to click on today is Learning Resources. Okay, so second up from the bottom right. At some point, the layout of this page may change as just in terms of the font and things like that, but the structurally it'll be the same. So it might look slightly different by the time you come to do this, but it'll essentially be the same. Okay, so once we've clicked on Learning Resources, it takes us through to this page, and we're going to click on this one in the bottom left corner here, which is the research link to the Learning Resource Centre and the libraries that are available to you. And then that brings up this screen here. And as you can see, it's a list of libraries that institute students are able to access. For most of you doing the dissertation, it will be the UEL library that you're gonna use most of all. That's because your programs are validated by the University of East London, so you have access to those libraries. Below is the University of South Wales library one. That's because our music business degree is validated by University of South Wales and not University of East London. So most of you won't be using that link. And below that we have this list of other libraries available to you. I'm not going to focus on that too much in this video, but as you can see, there's things like the British Library, which is an incredible resource, and I'd encourage you all to use that. It's also a great place to go and work. They have reading rooms, and you can get your own desk. You can have books brought up to you, things like that. It's fantastic. But as I say, I'm not going to focus on that today. We're going to follow the link through to the University of East London library page here. So I'm just going to click on this, and that'll open another window. And this is the University of East London library homepage. As you can see, there are lots of resources and services available to students at the University of East London. And as institute students, you have access to all of these. So you have exactly the same access and rights to services and study support that a student at the University of East London studying on the main campus in Stratford would have. That includes everything from mentoring system, the Learning Resource Centre over in Stratford, or Language Centre if you're having trouble writing in English. All that's available to you over there. I appreciate it's the other side of London for a lot of you, but just so you know that that support is available to you over in Stratford if you want to use it. Okay, so what we're going to be looking at now is down on this left hand side. You'll see the second item down in this list is to finding resources. So I'm going to click on the cross there, and this list here opens up. Some of these items are also over here in the quick links menu, just for future reference. Okay, so you'll see the top one is called Athens. Athens is what's called a online access system, and it basically means it's a kind of gateway, I suppose, which allows you to access library resources and other content that the University of East London has subscribed to from your own computer. So you don't have to be on a computer in the library at the University of East London. You don't have to be on campus. You can use your own laptop at home, and that will take you through to all these resources. So that's particularly useful for us over at the Institute, because we're not always close to the main library over there. Athens takes you through to the main login page, but you can also get through by following these more specific things here. And the one we're going to focus on today is databases and e-journals. Okay, so I'm going to click on that. Now, a database is it's basically a place where the content of lots and lots of journals are put in one place. So you don't have to search each individual journal separately. You can just search within the database, and anything related to the topic you've searched for from any of the journals on the database will, in theory, be brought up in the search. So it's excellent if you don't necessarily know which journal you want to look in, but in terms of the title of the journal, but you do know that you want to look for a topic. So you might be looking to research hip hop, for example. You could put hip hop into the search term of a database, and any article related to hip hop from any of the journals on that database will be brought up in the search. So it's really good for searching by topic or theme. Also by author. If you could type an author in, it will take you there that way as well. There are lots and lots of databases, and you can look through them, by alphabetical name. But what I think is probably the most useful to you as a starting point is a database called JSTOR. JSTOR has content of subjects related to the arts and humanities. So obviously music falls within that. So it's an excellent resource for music students. It's spelled JSTOR. So I'm going to click on the J here, and that will take us to all the databases with the title beginning with J. So you can see JSTOR is here in second in the list. And there are two links here. One is for access on campus. That would be if you were in the library at the University of East London, you could click on that and it would take you straight there. Or if you're off campus, like I am right now on my laptop, I would click on that, and as you can see, it says there brackets Athens. So I'll need to have my Athens login ready. Now, your Athens login will have been provided to you by University of East London. You should have a login and then a password. It's really important to keep this safe, just so that you know where it is, just so you have access to it at all times. I think you can get your computer to save it if you want, so you don't have to enter it every time. But it's a really important login and password for you in writing your dissertation, so make sure you don't lose it. So I'm going to click on this link now to Off Campus, and it will take us through to the JSTOR homepage. Not just yet. It will take me through to the Athens login page. Sorry. So I'll put my username in there, and then my password, then log in, and now it will take me through to the JSTOR homepage. It's being a little bit slow, but there we are. Okay, so here, this is the JSTOR homepage, and as you can see, it's very user-friendly and well laid out. And the search bar is right there in the middle. We'll look at the advanced search option later, but for now, we're just going to use this central search box. So this is where you would, at the point at which you decided, you have an idea of the kind of thing you want to write about for your dissertation. You've decided you want to write about hip hop, for example. So we're going to start looking for resources around the topic of hip hop. So I'm just going to type hip hop in here to the search, and I click on that. And this will now take us to a list of all the items within the JSTOR database that have the topic that concern the topic of hip hop, or have the words hip hop featuring in it, which usually means the same thing. So as you can see, there are 5,871 texts in the JSTOR database related to hip hop. So there's an enormous number of stuff there. Obviously, hip hop is a very broad topic, and in writing your dissertation, you will hopefully have narrowed it down a bit. You don't just want to write about hip hop. You're not going to do a history of hip hop. You're going to look at hip hop in a particular context, maybe a geographical context, or you might be looking at a subgenre of hip hop. I don't know, you might be looking at conscious hip hop, or old school hip hop, or gangster rap, or something like that. You want to be looking at a subgenre. So what we sometimes need to do, so that we don't have to sift through 5,871 results every time, is we need to refine our search a bit. We've done our main searches for hip hop. This time I'm going to refine it slightly. So I'm not just going to look up hip hop. I'm going to put a comma after hip hop, and that means that my next I can now add another research term. Now I'm particularly into Turkish music myself, so I'm going to add Turkey as another search term afterwards. You can see I've already done this, but I want to look at hip hop in Turkey. Okay, now that may sound like a very obscure topic, but almost certainly there'll be some results. So let's click on search and see what happens now. Okay, so there's now 329 results that focus on hip hop in Turkey, or at least that have the words hip hop and Turkey in the text. So that gives me a good starting point to start researching Turkish hip hop. They'll be arranged in order of relevance, which means, you can actually change how they're ordered, but the default one is relevance, which means that the one on the top here is the one where the words hip hop and Turkey occur most frequently. It also means that hip hop and Turkey were probably given as what we call keywords for that article, which is when somebody writes an article, they list the keywords, which then get given to the database, so that when people search those terms, that that article comes up in the search. So we know that this first one, Living Underground is Tough, Authenticity and Locality in the Hip Hop Community in Istanbul, Turkey, by Thomas Solomon, is going to be very relevant to the topic we're going to be looking at. So I know that's there now, so I'm going to click on this link, and that's going to take us through to the article. And here we are. It's in the journal Popular Music, which is one of the most well-known popular music journals. You can see here it's from volume 24, issue number 1, which was published in January 2005, and it's pages 1 to 20. And all that information, of course, we will need to make a record of, to put in our reference list and our bibliography at the end of our dissertation. But what you can do to get that information, if you want it, if you want to make an easy way of doing it without having to copy it down, is you click on this drop down here with citation tools, and you can export a citation, or you can even have the citation emailed to yourself. So it makes it very easy for you to keep a record of what you've read, and to keep all the relevant information that you'll need to do a good reference list at the end of your dissertation. Okay, but you can also download a PDF of the article, okay, which you can then print out if you want, or you can just store on your desktop and keep it filed away. So I'm going to click on that now. I have to accept JSTOR's terms and conditions. It basically means I'm not going to publish it anywhere else, or I'm not going to mistreat it in some way because it's somebody else's intellectual property, but I'm allowed to use it for research. So I'm going to accept their terms and conditions, and normally that would load the paper for me, and here it is. Okay, so it comes up like this. I've now got all 20 pages of the article. As you can see, it's got lots of relevant stuff in there, and then I can save it on my desktop if I want to. I always save by author name and then the main topic. Normally, you may have your own way of doing it, but that for me is the best way. It's very searchable that way. So I save it as that. I'm going to save it on my desktop. Let's have a look. And there it is. Okay, it's on my desktop now. So that's how you can start gain access to all these relevant resources if you want using JSTOR. Okay, now I said we were going to have a look at the advanced search option in JSTOR as well, which is another way of refining your search down. So we'll click on that now. Okay, now this allows me to really whittle it down to the specifics that I'm looking for. So I could, for example, put my topic is hip hop, and then say for example I wanted to look at articles on hip hop that were only written by Thomas Solomon, who wrote that last article. I could then click on this drop down menu here. I could put author, and then I type in Solomon. Okay, and that's it for now. And if I wanted, I could add another field, and I could type in Turkey. Okay, and if I wanted to, I could add more and more and more. I don't have to, but I could, for example, put Turkey, Istanbul. I could, find something to fit those other fields if I wanted to. But this will do for now. And so I click on search, and we'll see what happens now. Okay, now I've located another article by Thomas Solomon around the same theme. So now I have two things to draw on. As you can see, this is from a different journal that was published in the previous article was published in Popular Music. This one is published in the Yearbook for Traditional Music. A year after that one, they're slightly more recent. So I might want to read on this because Solomon might have come up with some new research in the meantime that would in between writing this one and the last one, which might be relevant to my study as well. So as you can see, this is how you can start building up a collection of literature that's relevant to your topic. You can really drill down to the specifics of what you're looking for. Okay, so that's how you find academic literature using databases and particularly JSTOR.